My name is Danielle. I am a follower of Jesus Christ. I am the youngest of 4 kids, and I have 3 kids of my own. My siblings are quite a bit older than I am, which makes it hard for us to have close relationships. My family has always been in and out of the church growing up, so there wasn't a lot of faith structure, and oftentimes attending church seemed like our family was putting up a facade. Without being pointed to the church and God constantly throughout my childhood, I always found myself trying to fill a void with things that were not God-focused. My focus became looking for the approval from my peers by succeeding in my hobbies and extracurriculars. I had a constant thought that if I could just get better, then I would be more important. I always needed the acceptance and approval of others and my accomplishments, and if I didn't have that, then in my mind, I didn't measure up. I was going through an identity crisis. I made decisions that felt good in the moment and seemed like something others would approve of. I pursued a marriage out of desperation that I wasn't prepared for. In my eyes, creating a family would give me a purpose. As I entered the marriage, I was striving to live by one set of morals while he was living by a completely different set of morals. A few months into our marriage, I found out my husband was having an affair. I felt lost and confused because he had told me so many lies and promises about a future that we could have. He had agreed to do counseling with me as I was convinced this was the relationship that I wanted and thought he had just made a mistake. We started marriage counseling and attending a local church together. We learned how to communicate and work together. We had built a stronger relationship and things started to look up. That quickly changed after I got pregnant with our second daughter. My husband had then admitted to having a porn addiction and still pursuing other women. I continued to fight for the marriage and felt like I had to be there since I had put myself in this position. I had to deal with it. We once again started improving our relationship, and this time implementing the church and communicating well for the longest that we had during our marriage. However, after a 3rd pregnancy and successful string of months, he crumbled into old habits. The constant emotional abuse and empty promises was exhausting. It was hurting not only me, but also my girls. After about 4 years, I built up enough confidence in my decision that it was time to leave. I packed my kids and my things up and moved back home. Starting over was scary and seemed impossible with all the road bumps in the way. But out of the darkest times in my life, years of depression, a desire for approval, and a failed marriage, I made the decision to follow God wholeheartedly. While I still struggle with daily trials, financial stability, finding babysitters, and living with past trauma, I've never felt closer to God because I know He has a plan for me.